But that came to an end. We break up. I tell him to come get his things from my house, including his car, and he finally tells me he will. He gets to my house, and as we're sitting there talking, his phone rings and a woman's name pops up with a heart eye emoji next to it. I ask him who it was, and he says, I met a guy untagged while living in California. We messaged back and forth for a couple of days, then decided to go on a date. I told him to meet me in the parking lot of a hotel. I worked there, but I didn't tell him that, and I knew I would be safe just in case. I waited for about an hour for him, still telling me he's on his way. I decided to go home. He finally called and said he was 20 minutes away, so I drove back to the hotel. You see, ladies, when you have opportunity to just go home and go to sleep, that's the better option. Just take your ass to bed. Anytime you left somewhere you're supposed to meet somebody and they're not there, and you decide to drive back, whatever happens after that is entirely on you. Let's keep reading. I decided to go home. He finally called and said he was 20 minutes away, so I drove back to the hotel. The date went great and we began seeing each other more often. Fast forward to a month later and I got a job offer in Texas. While discussing it with him, he said he always wanted to move to Texas. After a week of discussing it, he said he wanted to come with me. I agreed. Wait, what? Hold on. You've been talking to this guy for a month later and he said he wanted to come with you and you said cool? You agreed? We get to Texas and we're staying at a hotel while I'm trying to find a place. Why? I still can't get over the fact you're there together right now after a month. 1 month. We get to Texas and we're staying at a hotel while trying to find a place. He told me before moving to Cali, he had already put a down payment on a house for us in Texas. Come on. Lie. Well, yeah. He would leave for hours on end, once even overnight, with no explanation as to where he had been. We finally get a place and we move in. Things were going great for about a month. He was traveling back and forth to California as he apparently had a pending court case, which I was unaware of. He finally gets back to Texas and tells me he needs to go to Colorado for his job. I thought he was doing hotshot trucking, but it turns out he was just doing illegal activities. He asked me to rent the vehicle for him to drive there. He had a $120,000 car and didn't want to put the miles on it, and I rented the vehicle. He kept up with the payments for a while as he was gone for about a month, but that came to an end. We break up. I tell him to come get his things from my house, including his car, and he finally tells me he will. He gets to my house, and as we're sitting there talking, his phone rings and a woman's name pops up with a heart eye emoji next to it. I ask him who it was, and he says his aunt. Niggas just lie. He says his aunt that was waiting for him outside. We lived in the townhouse complex, and he didn't even bring the... Wait. We lived in the townhouse in the complex, and he didn't even bring the car into the gate. Turns out it was another female, and she was driving the Audi he had bought for me a couple weeks prior. That was it for me. That was it for you? I told him to never speak to me again. The rental car company then charged my account $7,000 because he didn't return the car when he was supposed to and didn't make the remainder of the payments. This all happened in the course of 4 months. He would still message me from time to time, tell me how much he missed me, and wanted me to move back out to California with him. He just needed me to send him $2,000 so he could flip it. He just needed me to send him $2,000 so he could flip it and move me out there. Needless to say, I'm still paying off that debt and have been single ever since. What's so crazy about this is all of this could have been avoided if you never went back to the hotel. You were already home, turned around for this guy, to only move in with him a month later and have him run you for 7 racks. Listen, I'm gonna say this again. If you have an out during your date, take it. This was a very, very expensive lesson on judgment and not moving in with a stranger. Maybe never do that again.
All right, I don't even know what to say about this. I just find it ridiculous. Like that's crazy. Like y'all don't even know each other that well, and y'all decided to move to a different state together. And I don't know what in the world made you think it's a great idea to take out car loans for these men. Yeah. This is why it's so important to do background checks. And you know, the funniest thing is like these red flags, they show themselves off right off the bat. But y'all women choose to ignore them, right? Just like how you found out that on his phone there was another woman with heart emojis, whatever, by their name. And he lied to you and told you it's his aunt or whatever. Like, yeah, get out of here. That's crazy as hell. And on top of that, I guess you thought he was a truck driver all along. Meanwhile, he does some street business, illegal activities. Yeah, that's crazy as hell too. So whatever happens is on you. Literally, like you didn't do your background. You should have done your background check before, you know. Although I will say this, you did not deserve that amount that showed up for that car you took out for him, the 7,000 that he owes the whatever creditors. You did not deserve this, and I hope he pays that back. I hope it doesn't fall on you. But if it does, that's a lesson for you for next time. This is why before you do proper background check and get to really know the person and get to know their lifestyle and what they do for work and everything else, this is why you don't move in with them. You know, you don't get stuff under your name for them, right? That's crazy, because when you break up, you end up with a situation like this. He even took the car he bought for you, the Audi, whatever. He took it and he gave it to his new bitch. That's mad. But anyways, it is what it is, yeah?
I just found out that one of the girls I'm with kissed the guy that I was getting with on a 2-man.
I shit in a public park because I couldn't take it anymore.
I'm going to be a world famous country superstar one day. Emily Skillet.
I don't even know which story is worse. Is it the first one, the second one, or the third? Actually, the third ain't that bad. It's between the first and the second one. Which one is worse? My man's out here publicly admitting he took a doo-doo in the park, and you got the woman here saying she found out before she got with the 2 men that her friend kissed the other day. Like, that's crazy. I don't know which one's worse. Guys, comment down below. Let me know which one's worse in your opinion. I can't really come up with a conclusion between.
I've been hanging out with this Asian boy, and I was like, okay, yeah, like hanging out with an Asian boy can't be that much different from hanging out with a white boy. And then all of a sudden he pulls out a gigantic dumpling from his pocket, like the size of my hand, this big of a dumpling, or I guess it's called like a bao. A bao. And he was like, oh, I was just carrying around in case I wanted a snack. In case he wanted a snack, he had a gigantic dumpling in a pocket. It was one of these huge things. Just took that out of his pocket.
My man's thinking for himself. He's thinking for the day, alright? He just decided to bring a little snack along, right? In case any situation happens, he want to make sure he got food with him at all times. Ready to go. My man was like, I'm going on a picnic. I don't care about this bitch, but I'm going to make sure I bring my dumpling with me.
Women know almost immediately whether or not they want to sleep with you. Men tend to underestimate how observant women are. Women are like the Terminator. They can see you from a distance and pick you apart. Fucking analytically, they just broke nigga. Simple as that. I'll tell you a story. When I was like 20 or something, you know, I was still living with my moms. My mom was in my ear. I just needed to get out the house. So what do you do when you need to get out the house? I took my ass to Target. At Target, I'm walking around. I ain't really got shit to do. I'm just looking. I'm just strolling in that motherfucker. While I'm strolling around, I see 2 women, beautiful women, right? From a distance, I'm just, you know, peeping their vibe or whatever. They were kind of just running around Target, doing their own thing. They were having fun. They were like kind of vlogging themselves or whatever. And I'm just like, oh, word, they seem really dope, really attractive. If I see them again, because I lost them, I was like, if I see them again, I'll take it as a sign I need to talk to them, right? So grab my stuff, check out, head out. At the time, didn't have a car, so I'm just waiting for Uber right outside of Target. Here come the 2 women walking outside of Target. I take the sign, I'm like, I gotta talk to him. I told myself I would, I gotta talk to him. So I walk up, I say, excuse me, y'all seem really dope. Like, y'all seem like fun people. I was just wondering if y'all YouTubers or something, can I get your information, whatever. And one of them, there was two women. One of them was light skinned, one of them was dark skinned. The light skinned one just walks away. Right? The dark skinned one, she stops and she's like, yeah, like here, I'll give you my Instagram, whatever, da-da-da-da. I'm thinking, I just succeeded. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm thinking, I feel like the man right now, I got one of them. I don't even look at the Instagram. I said, I'll check it when I get home. I'm like, fuck it, let me just look at her Instagram. I look, and it was Magic Johnson's daughter. And then I came to realize the one that walked away, the light skinned one, was Lori Harvey. Point being, at the time, again, I'm like 20. I didn't really have a sense of style. I was wearing some skinny jeans. I had freeform hair at the time. I had this weird trench coat, Topshop trench coat. I looked like a black Inspector Gadget. I did not have that shit on at the time. And with all that, Lori saw me immediately and said, fuck no. There's other reasons why I also wasn't a contender for Lori Harvey, other, you know, obvious reasons, but also, you know, they just know immediately sometimes. And either you can tell or you might find out later.
Yo, to be honest, bro, there's a thing called preference. Maybe for this woman, you just weren't it, right? Like, she light skinned, maybe she dates other light skins, or maybe she dates white dudes. You don't know, right? There could be a lot of variables that go into this. But I will say that, yes, women do know if they're gonna sleep with you or not, right? Initially, too, right? It also falls down into how attracted they are to you, and they will show you, right? Like, when you talk to them at the beginning, you should be able to find out if she's attracted to you or she not, right? Some of them will find you lame right off the bat, and they'll make it known, even though they might try to be politely like nice and all, but still a part of their body gestures and all that body language will give it out, right? So yeah, I mean, like you said, maybe you weren't dressed apart, maybe you were not confident, maybe you look younger, maybe that other woman just messed with dudes who are older, bro. Maybe in the NBA, 6'4", whatever. Maybe your ass was just too short too. 5'2". She know you ain't like that. She know you ain't got it like that.
I don't care how bad she is. If she 18 and you over the age of 21, you should not be talking to her. Shorty was born in 2006. She just turned 19 in January. Bro was born in 1997. He just turned 28 last month. And I'm making this video because a female tried to talk to me. I asked her how old she was. She said she was 18. I'm like, I'm cool off you just because you too young. You got some growing to do. She gonna say, I mess with 30-year-olds. You not the oldest I even talk to. I'm like, that's not good, sweetheart. What Boston Richie doing is literally creep behavior. I'm only 23 and I'm not trying to talk to a female that's 18 just because it's like, you still a child. You just now getting out of high school. You still got a high school mindset, whether you believe it or not. And what's crazy, Boston Richie was talking to her before she even turned 18. That's why they say no matter how much money you got, it still can never unlame a lame. I ain't gonna bap to you. Cause bro got all this money, he decided to talk to someone that's in high school. I feel once a female 21, that's when age don't matter. I ain't gonna bap to you. Like, she could be 21, you could be 78 for all I care. But at least wait till a female become 21 before you try to creep up on her. And you shouldn't want to be in a relationship with an 18-year-old because mentally she shouldn't be on the same level as you. And if she is, then that's a problem. And I feel this way just because I don't want no overly grown 25-year-old trying to talk to my 18-year-old sister soon as she get out of high school. Like, that's creep behavior. There's only one exception for you to be 20-something and your girl still be in high school. And that's because you started talking to her in high school and you end up graduating before her.
Hey, yo, you know what's funny about this is the fact that, like, if celebrities be doing this type of shit, you all be normalizing it. Like, for example, Tyga was doing this with Kylie Jenner for the longest time, man. Like, she was like 16 or 15 and dude was like in his mid-20s, bro. Nobody was saying shit, you know what I mean? Everybody was like, yo, they're goals, you know? But I gotta agree with my man, right? In regards to the law, there's nothing illegal about it, but as a person, I'm sure when you go out, you don't want to be walking with an 18-year-old like that, you know what I mean? You want somebody close to your age or just, you know, a couple years below. Also, yeah, like you said, 18, it's like they're coming fresh from high school, man. If you're like near 30, come on, that's like young enough to be your little sister, young enough to be your daughter. Like, that's crazy, bro. You know? But at the end of the day, too, it's like, yo, let them do their own thing, right? If she really likes him like that and he really likes her like that, like, okay, cool, man. Like, you guys hear stories all the time of how your grandparents got married when, like, your grandma was like, what, on her, like, she was 15 or whatever, and your grandpa was like 25 and stuff like that. Like, you know, you hear a lot of these stories from back in the days, but somehow it was okay then, right? So I mean, now it's like, I'm just saying it, like, if they vibe, who are you to be over there concerned about what they're doing on the other end, right? So let them do them. But at the end of the day, also, you got to keep in mind, they do say that women's brains do develop at a faster rate than men. So I mean, if he's 28, she's 18, I know, right? Theoretically speaking, it sounds and seems like, you know, she's immature and younger and doesn't know whatever, but you gotta realize that a women's brains are supposed to be developing at a rapid rate compared to men. So, you know, she could look younger, she could look 18, but her brain wavelength could be like that of a 25, 26-year-old, 28-year-old. That's why there's a lot of women, when they're like on their teens, like 18, 19, whatever, they prefer to be dating men in their 30s, you know, 40s, because they feel like that's where their brain can match up, you know what I mean? Like, a man at 30 and a girl at 18, she feels like, you know, he's mature enough. Because you gotta realize as well, just because a man is in his mid 20s or low 30s, whatever, does not mean his brain is right there. You know what I mean? Hell, I seen men who are like in their 50s and their brave wavelength is that of like a 17, 18-year-old. You know, that's how they just are, right? So that's another thing to keep in mind, right? So yeah, age-wise, she 18, he 28, he doesn't look good, but I mean, mentally, she could be way developed, and they could be matching each other. But at the end of the day, yeah, I mean, it's up to them. Let them do them. Why are you stressed?
I'm not going to publicly bash a teenage girl because that's not within my religion. However, I do feel like some of you need to be called out. Like, this behavior is getting fucking weird. I follow this girl named Ari. She's a bop. She's not a teenager. She's like, I think a little bit older, maybe 22, 23. And she's a bop. She makes videos on this app, and then she also does OnlyFans. And one of her things is that on OnlyFans, she only makes videos with her boyfriend. So 4 days ago, she came on and she was like, hey, just need to address this. Like, me and my boyfriend broke up because he cheated on me, so he won't be in my videos anymore. Like, I'm gonna do a content shift on OnlyFans. Now, I don't subscribe to her on that. I follow her other accounts because I think she's funny. She does skits, she does makeup. I love her. I am interested though, so I go to her spam account, and you can tell she's crashing out. Like, there's no shade, but like, you can tell she's bothered by the breakup. She's using humor to cope, like funny little skits, like saying a lot of things. Okay, the top search is her ex-boyfriend's name, so I go to his account. He doesn't post on TikTok. Like, he's not a creator. He posts like every 4 months, the most recent video being with her. And I go through the posts, and I'm already at a year ago, like 3 scrolls, and I'm a year ago, and I look at the comment section, and it's fucking girls throwing themselves at him, being like, you're so hot, I want you, I need you, from 4 days ago, their comments. So then I check each of their profiles. They all follow her, not just her main account, but her spam account, and like all of you're literally so fucking weird. What would compel you to come on the internet, find out that your favorite TikToker, that you follow all of her accounts, broke up with her boyfriend because he's a cheater, and then decide, oh, let me go find his account and try to slide publicly? Like a public profile. You didn't even go private. You didn't even privately message him. You fully, publicly, with your whole chest, slid, having actively, openly following her on all of her accounts. You're weird. You're fucking weird. And none of you guys should be doing that. That's embarrassing behavior. So many comments too. Like, oh my god.
Yo, regarding this video or this situation, I just want to say, like, at the end of the day, right, I mean, I do understand your concern and why you're a little bit triggered on this fact, but like, you gotta realize one thing. These women are making their moves because they know that he's on the market, right? He's single. Why can't they shoot their shot? Like, I get it, they follow that woman, they see them throughout the year, but why can't they shoot their shot? Like, it's not like they're together. Matter of fact, it's respectful of them to be doing it when he is single and in the market, rather than him being in a relationship. I mean, wouldn't it sound so bad if they were just going up to him while he's in a relationship and trying to like mess with him like that? You know, at least they're shooting their shot now that he's single and, you know, he's over with that other woman. And another thing is, like, I get it, as much as you want to blame the followers and all, you gotta also blame the woman, because she's the one who was making content with him and posting him, right? So she was advertising him to her audience, you know. And matter of fact, they had OnlyFans. So I mean, all these women, they were watching, God knows what kind of ideas they were getting. And of course, that's why they want to be with him. They're like, oh damn, if you could perform like that on those OnlyFans videos, if you were doing hair like that, like, I want you to do me like this. That's why they're attracted to him. That's why they're flocking towards it, right? So blame the original girl, because she's the one that pretty much advertised him, right? She wanted him to be like private and all, and to not like, and her followers not have access to him. She wouldn't have been posting content with him, right? So, and at the end of the day, it's up to the man, right? He's gonna choose who he wants. He's gonna choose who the hell he wants. So if one of these women, you know, just catches his eye, and even if he was dating that other woman, if he wanted to be with her, you'll be with her, right? So I don't know why she's triggered here, but it is what it is. Anyways, guys, that's the video. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, leave me your thought.